Alright, so today we're going to be talking about a topic that I've wanted to address for a while. I don't like the new item system, and for the most part, it comes down to the way that your champion feels when you're playing with the new items. So, originally, when Riot revealed that they were going to rework the item system, we were told that the aim was to increase build diversity and create more options for itemization, which, in my opinion, has completely failed. So, first off, I don't like the way that stats are distributed across the items in the new system. It feels like every item has to have some of everything. They all have to be a jack of all trades, master of none item. So they can't be like specialized into anything, and they, for some reason as well, can't have actives. All the actives seem to have been stripped down. So Wit's End lost its effect because it needed to have AD for some reason. Ravenous Hydra lost healing, AD, and its active because for some reason it needs haste and the ability to be used by ranged champions. Titanic Hydra lost its active so that it can have an HP to AD conversion stat buff. Bloodthirster lost AD because for some reason it needed crit. Randuin's lost HP on a tank item because it needs haste for some reason. Seraph's lost its active because they felt like it. Blade of the Ruined King's active became a passive because they felt like it. Gunblade became Riftmaker, and its active got removed. And then one of my favourite items in the game, Spellbinder, which was a difficult active to learn how to use properly, but really strong if you timed the pop correctly, got replaced by Cosmic Drive, which is just another multiple stat stick. So to me, this leads to situations where you are strong, but you don't feel strong, because you're strong in all these different ways that you don't want to be, instead of just having all your power in one place where you want it to be. And also you have less buttons to press. I used to have buttons that are like built into my muscle memory. Things like Blade of the Ruined King active during an engage, or doing a Hydra in a Riven combo, which you still get with Gore Drinker, but you don't get it with Hydra. So on Camille, you used to do Hydra cancels on Camille, but now you don't, because you get Trinity Force, so you don't get a Hydra. So yeah, you have things like tanks are, for the most part, less durable than they were last season, but they do more damage, which doesn't fit their class fantasy. And fighters, on the other hand, are way more durable than they used to be, because literally every item gives health now, but they have less, like, raw AD than they used to, which doesn't fit their class fantasy as far as I'm concerned. You've got mage players complaining that their items just don't have enough AP on them because it's been removed in favour of things like ability haste. I don't see how not having ability power on a mage fits the class fantasy. There's also the mythic passives on the items, which I just think they're so widely different in terms of how they feel. So you have like Prowlers, Ludens, and Protobelt, where their mythic passives give you flat pen, and it feels so good. Every time you get a new item, you're like, oh shit, I've gained 5 flat pen. And then you have like Liandry's and Duskblade, which are like the alternatives to Ludens and Prowlers, right? And they give you 5 haste, and it's like, okay, yeah, sure, 5 haste. And then you have like Kraken Slayer giving 10% attack speed. That is a lot of attack speed for every single item. And it feels really good, because it makes your champion smoother, and every champion that builds Kraken wants attack speed anyway. And then you have ADCs building Gale Force, and they're like, cool, I get 2% move speed. Nice. But the mythics, honestly, they just inherently go against the goal of the item rework. I don't understand why you have a system revolving around diversity, but you're locking off items and disabling potential combinations. So it just removes so many combinations. When you buy a mythic, it removes a quarter of completed items from your shop. It removes 23 of the 86 items, which is about 27% of items. So yeah, I don't think anything's gonna change about it, but I think the game would be so much better if they removed mythic locking. So obviously they would have to like rework the power of some of the mythic items to make them be able to be built at the same time. Otherwise the game would just break. But I'd rather they balance the game around like an open shop instead of having things locked off. So let's have a look at some examples of how that could play out. In my opinion, I'm biased as a fighter player, but I feel like the class that was hit most by the change was AD fighters, because you used to build Tiamat and Trinity Force, right? Now you can't have the old Tiamat active, which is now the Whip active, with a Sheen, unless you go Essence Reaver, which is a crit item, which makes no sense. Whereas if you unlocked it and balanced items around it, you would have so many options. You could go Gore Drinker Sunderer, you could go Gore Drinker with Trinity Force, you could go Stride Breaker with Trinity Force, you could go Stride Breaker with Sunderer. And this thing would like extend to other classes too. So you have Shen. Shen really likes Sunderer, but he also really likes Frostfire. He could get both. And then you can have like, you can play Zac builds where you go Sunfire and Riftmaker. That sounds cool. And then the thing that always happens when people suggest changes is that ADC players go, but what about us? We're going to get one shot by everything. But it's okay. You get Kraken Slayer and Shield Bow. You can have Enchanters. You can go Moonstone with Shurelya's instead of having to give up on all your heal and shield power if you want to be able to boost your team's move speed. It's just more options. You can have mages go Liandry's and Ludens again, like they used to. They used to go Ludens into Liandry's, and then you actually have damage versus the whole team instead of just tanks or squishies. You can have like more utility if you want. Ryze can go Ludens with Everfrost, or Lilia can do like some Bruiser build where she goes Liandry's and Riftmaker. That would be cool. And then at the start of the season, more than now, but still a little bit, you have Assassins going Gore Drinker. Like Kayn, Talon, Kha'Zix. With this, they could go Gore Drinker into Duskblade. I mean, at this point, I'm just spitballing, but I don't know. I just feel like everyone would feel better with this sort of system. So, yeah, that's about it. See ya.